forums track for 2011.
Yeah.
And we're going, it's originally titled The Last Theory Panel Ever. In the description it clarifies, we're talking about JordanCon, but maybe even that isn't applicable anymore. We'll get back to you next year. But
the last theory.
Yes. So we not only want to talk about what we think some of these plot lines might, oh, do you want to come up?
Yeah,
How some of the plot lines might be resolved, but which plot lines we think will be included in this final novel, and what we might not see in it too. So again, very distinguished panel of experts, especially when we're talking about theories. I think Matt's our go-to guy, and I'll let him introduce himself.
I'm his go-to guy.
That's right. I brought mine along with me too. So Matt Hatch again, theory then guy.
Hi, I'm Aubree Pham. I'm the director of programming for JordanCon. I've also been very involved in real-time community for the past 10 years or so. And I run the theory discussion at JordanCon. I've done that for the past 6 years. I was counting last year when I decided to have a baby.
I'm Theresa. I just know a lot, that's all. and I post a lot.
Very close everywhere, and she's my fact check when I don't know it. That's all. So I thought I'd stand up. Some people complained they couldn't hear some of us, and this is an exciting topic. So it let me swing my arms a little bit. And so this isn't only going to be about.
Sorry.
Blasphemous.
I also need to read that
It's compelled, of course. So we're going to start this off about one of my favorite topics, just because I feel like I can take a little bit of time to talk about it. I'll be honest. But then we're going to get into yours, and we're eventually going to. I'd like to get to the point where you guys feel like you can talk about some theories that you had, and you can fact check them against us, and we can tell you if it's totally crazy, or if that's plausible, or if we've heard it like 1,000 times before, but that's okay. But I want to talk about one of mine because it happens to be one that still remains. After the dust has settled over the last many, many books. You know, it's kind of like a bracket, you know, you kind of pick your winners, and as it goes by, you're like, oh, no way. And
I
lost.
never picked a perfect bracket. So.
That's right, I lost Asmodean Senlin.
Yeah.
I had so many options for that one. That's the crazy thing, that I lost him.
Not really.
Makes it rain as a desert.
Yeah, thanks for for your bracket. So the one I want to talk about, Land Fear, is when I looked back at the Wheel of Time, or I've looked at it and read it, I've always thought of the Wheel of Time and what the story we're getting. Yeah, it's a story about Rand and how he has to overcome all these things, retain all these things. But really, it's a love story. Well, maybe a love story and a crazy woman, whatever kind of story. But it is about love. Land Fear's love of herself, and love of power, and love of Luz Theron. Because if you think about what we're going through right now, and what we're reading about, it's all because of this woman. It's all because of Land Fear. Not but anyways. It is, Land Fear wanted more power. She wanted this, we're going to share powers, we're going to find this other power. And because she created the boar, we have Luz Theron, and we have the pattern having to send out, all these people to seal the boar, kind of. And then we get the Third Age, and we get all these things that we're experiencing now because of Land Fear. And my theory has always been with Land Fear, that she is the one that created, or helped create with her team, the boar. And therefore she will be the one that in the end will be responsible, in a way, for helping to repair it. Or because she knows how it was made, she knows how to actually fix it.
She knows how she broke it.
Exactly, and that's what I think. That's been my theory for so long, and I thought it was dead because we had stupid Sindane stuff, and I don't know if that really bothered you, but once Sindane came along, I was in denial for a little bit. And then...
Oh, FYI, my pet theory on that is that the body that Sindane is in is Capriana Makundi. The Aes Sedai and Samurai.
Maria actually thinks that one.
No, curses!
Yes, Maria said no.
She's a rat.
Actually, Maria said that the only reason she even answered that is because she thought the theory was so ridiculous.
Korean though.
The descriptions fit and the timeline fits, so.
No,
I agree. I didn't think it was that ridiculous, but I thought it was really.
Yeah, we're
yes, did you have a question?
Yeah, about your stuff about Lanfear.
Yeah.
So when I started reading Towers of Midnight at the beginning, and Egwene has that dream about the 13 towers, and like one of them almost crumbles and then it grows up to be taller than all the rest of them. Like I was thinking that that was Lanfear, and you know it's as a representation of the Forsaken, and that was.
I think that's.
I love it. I'll
And
take that.
that's
Done.
Lanfear, and so I'm wondering like. You know, what you think of that and if that would fit into your theory
Absolutely.
somehow.
That's absolutely. So if you think about Lanfear, she was gone in essence. Okay, so we know she went to Finland. We know that there's some type of we know that there's some type of situation there with. However, she died and was likely transmigrated and likely had her power. What was it? Juiced. Awesome word, by the way. Juiced is the new word. Alan. Thank you. That was great. But now Lanfear, the book ends like that was my favorite part. I think I could have loved Towers of Midnight if it had sucked up until we got the last dream, I'll be honest. Like, it didn't really matter because we got the Rand moment with Lanfear.
It's a trap.
And so that's what I want to discuss here, is because this is my theory, there's lots of different ways this could go. I want to know, and I want to understand, what do you guys think is going to happen with Lanfear now that she's back? I mean, Lanfear's back. That's what we get. Like, we got the Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. Like, Lanfear's back. You know, it's like she's back. So what's going to happen? What are we seeing going on there? And I know enough about the dream world, and I'm sure this panel up here does too, to kind of debunk some of the things that we might come up with or to support them. What do you think is going on with Rand in that moment with Lanfear? Is what we're seeing real? Is it fake? Is Ishmael ahead of it? Is Lanfear actually out of? Was one of her wishes to get rid of the mind trap? And were they able to accomplish that so she no longer had the mind trap? You know, there's a lot of possibilities with what we're seeing with Lanfear. Is it legit? Is Lanfear, you know, what are we seeing there? And I want to read you a couple quotes before we begin. So I'm gonna.
Oh, that makes notes.
Well, this is back from a theory I wrote back in like 90 something. So I will sit down to read these.
So you're quoting yourself?
No. Not yet. Not yet. No,
According to expert sources.
He's quoting the citation in the theory he wrote. This is in the Big White Book. No, I'm just kidding. So this is from Lanfear's conversation with Matt in White Tower. She says, "A dark friend, one of those pathetic followers of Balsamon, who think he will give them immortality and power? I follow no one. There is one man I can stand beside, but I do not follow. Just remember that there is another choice. You need not be a puppet for the White Tower or prey to Balsamon's dark friend. The world is more complex than you can imagine. Do as these Aes Sedai wish for the present, but remember your choices. Will you do that? I alone guarantee you life on all you seek if you do as I say." Then she says to Rand in The Son of Tyr, "We can destroy all of them, even Asmodean. Once he has taught you all you need to know. You and I can rule the world together." Then speaking of the two great sign girls, she says, "We could challenge the great Lord himself." And then we hear about Lanfear's plans, and it said, "Do you know that they are drawing Rand al'Thor to attack Samael? But when he does, he will find the others as well, waiting to trap him between them. At least he will find Grendel and Ravine? I think Lanfear plays another game one others know nothing about." So there's always been a setup in the books that Lanfear, no matter she's always been in trouble, she has a plan that obviously does not necessarily include the Dark One winning or the Light winning. It doesn't matter. She wants something. So yeah.
Matt, sweetheart, are you falling into the same trap of who's your source?
No, so again, Lanfear, I'm not falling into that trap. So what do we see at the end then? What are the ideas here? What's happening when Rand gets in with the dream? What do you guys believe?
I think she's manipulating it.
Who's trapped?
Lanfear's trap.
Morden's trap.
Morden's trap or Lanfear's trap?
I think Lanfear's trap.
So you think Morden has Lanfear next to him and created a dream, and somehow is Morden connecting their two dreams together?
Well, let me say
Is
this.
Morden pretending to be Lanfear? What's happening there? If you're going to say Morden, I want to know how you were proposing Morden.
Until the corset is gone, she's more just to do.
Can I explain that real quick before?
Sure.
Because Morden, when Rand showed up in his dream in the Gathering Storm, Morden didn't seem to realize that that was possible. And what Rand apparently did is he piggybacked the link to get into Morden's dreams.
Sure.
And Morden was like, oh, how did you come here? And then he figured out, oh, it's the link. So I think that clued him in to the fact that he could access Rand's dreams, even though they're Morden. And I'm thinking that's the only way. Now, Lanfear said that she could break his wards, but she also said that he wouldn't like it, insinuating that it would be painful or something like that. So I'm thinking the only way is that Moradin invaded the dream, and through the mind trap, he was able to bring Sindane into it, or she was an illusion. You know, but I'm thinking it's probably the former, that through the mind
I don't think
trap.
we have enough information to say.
But we see
Right,
Egwene's dream bubble mixed with Gawain's dream bubble.
I think
We
that's
know
what-
that they end up
Yeah.
sharing
they
the same, they can share a dream. And
If
so,
there's strong feeling that exists between
there, and with
And
Luce Theron coming back,
certainly Luce Theron,
exactly, that those two dreams
and
certainly could
Yaren.
come together.
Unless they're
there's
warded.
strong
There wasn't
feeling.
warded.
I don't know that, do we know that two warded dreams can't touch each other and meld?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't get into dreams that they're warded.
No, I'm talking about Lanfear's dream. I'm not talking that she
talking
attacked
about
his
that she
dream.
attacked
I'm
his
talking
dream.
she was dreaming.
Or
I'm
as a dream walker tried to come
talking she was
into it.
in her dream
But
and that
that-
the dreams touched.
I don't think we know if warding will stop that.
Yeah, no, we have no idea.
No.
So one idea I'm posing is that Lanfear was in her dream, but also that dream was being manipulated by Shadar Haran, or whoever was attacking her, or doing something, or coming back for her in the dream. Very well could have been Morden. So one idea is Morden was going to come at her in her dream again and do whatever, and that dream bubble was attracted to Rand's dream. They connected. Rand was able to enter her dream and actually saw legit feelings from Lanfear in the midst of her torture that she just wanted out. And I'm not saying she wasn't manipulating him with her feelings. I'm saying she wanted out. Like, she's sick of the mind trap and she wants out of the situation. And the idea that she couldn't talk to Luz because of the mind trap, no, she could say those things, and legitimately it might be that in the end it doesn't work out the way.
There's
So that's one.
there's a very large part of me that just wants to pull Big Southern, bless your heart, and consider the source. And a lot of
No, I'm not talking about the sources. I'm talking about what happened between Rand and Lanfear right there. Imagining for a moment that Lanfear is not affected by all the torture that she's been going through, and she's just the same person that's being manipulated. The idea that she could not change because of what she's going through, I don't think is, just because she's Lanfear, I don't think you have to assume that she can't change.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
The attraction, the dream bubble thing only happens when you're in the gap. It doesn't happen unless you're, there looking for dreams. Then a dream might come for you. But if you're just sleeping, it doesn't happen.
You're saying two dream bubbles could never be attracted to each other, or you're saying we don't know?
When Egwene is in the gap of infinity, that's when the dreams come for her.
Yeah, I agree. We've seen someone enter a dream. Right, I'm saying two dream
Yeah.
bubbles attracted to each other. And actually,
Yeah,
We have never seen that.
okay. So that is my one theory. Now, obviously, there's a second theory that Therese brought up here, that Moradin, this could certainly be an illusion. We have seen him manipulate. He can manipulate someone's dream, and he's really good at it. And so the idea, and also Lanfear could too. So, but the breaking of the ward thing is the other thing that kind of messes with that. So the idea, I like that Therese brought up, somehow Morden uses his link and is able to manipulate the dream without worrying about the wards, or somehow is able to enter it.
Yeah, he's already inside it.
Yeah, he's inside it, so, and could be manipulating, although he'd have to create the illusion of Lanfear, not that he couldn't do it, and believable in the sense that because Rand recognizes exactly who this is, and it certainly could be Morden. Why then? Okay, whether or not it's legitimately like Lanfear's dream and someone else sharing it, whatever, or Morden, why do we give the scene what's happening, what's the plan? Yeah, right behind you, and then we'll come back.
I think it really is Lanfear that we're seeing, but I think that's because Morden is letting her do it. I think Morden is kind of dangling her out there as bait, whether he's using the link or moving. I don't know what the mechanism is, but I think he's like, okay, this is her legitimately going, oh my God, let me out, it's so bad. But he's like, come and get her. All you have to do is come back into the dream world where we can fight.
Okay, so that's the third. The third option is legitimate Lanfear, but still manipulation by Morden. I agree, but why?
because I think he wants Rand back in the dream world where he can mess with him.
See,
But he can just do that with his own. I mean, the messing with him. You're trying to say he's trying to upset his Neo Rand.
I think he's trying to upset the
Yeah.
loose Theron Rand, Neo Rand, Jesus action, whatever he's doing.
Okay, right. Yeah.
When,
Then we'll go back there.
when Grendel was pleading for her life, when they came for her, and she says, I can give you Luce Theron. And he says, that task has been given to another. Then,
Yes,
Then
we
the
do
next
have that.
thing you see is Lanfear in Rand's dream, and I
That's
thought.
part of what makes me think it's a red herring, though.
I
Because
thought-
like,
I
There you go.
don't think that Lanfear is good. I think that
I think she was giving it to
remains
us.
as a dish vessel.
Yeah, but it's not about being good. It's
Yeah.
about wanting out. And that's the question: is who
I
can
got
get
another
who
clue
can
on
get
that
her out of her
gathering
who can
story.
get her out of her mind trap? Can Neo Rand get her out of a mind trap? Does Luce Theron have the capability to know how to do it from the outside? Yeah, she wants out. She certainly wants. You can't make the case she does not want out from Moradin's mind trap. She certainly, you know that part. So,
yeah,
but
but she also apparently wants to kill Rand, and that's like her greatest objective, you know?
Yeah, she
Ever
certainly
since
could be-
She came back in Sunday, and that's all she wants.
But she certainly could be manipulating him for that
Okay.
end. In other words,
Right.
get me out of my mind trap so I can
So I
kill
can
you
kill
and
you.
rule the world.
Yes, I think
But
that's
from what you
absolutely.
said about,
And that's where.
Yeah,
I can go with you there.
I'm totally good with
yeah,
that.
from what you
Yeah.
said about whoever's been given the privilege to kill Rand, there's another clue on that in the prologue of the Gathering Storm. Because Demandred pretty much says to Moradin, you know, that's my job to kill Rand, and Moradin's like, you know, yeah, you are the Great Lord, you know. So he pretty much
Yeah,
seems to even confirm
I seem to
it
believe
there.
it's I believe it's Demandred.
So yeah, it's either Demandred or
There was one hand over here. There was a hand up there. I don't know.
No.
There wasn't. Okay, then right here.
Lanfear is only Rand is retarded. It's ridiculous. It's not gonna happen.
Oh, the fact that she
No,
does
I
kill
don't
him?
think-
No,
no,
she
I don't
wants to.
think so.
That she
But I
would
think
still
that's
want
where
to.
I'm there.
Yeah, she'll have that urge every once in a while, but she'll stop herself for it. She's waited this long to
No, I
get
think
Luce
so.
Theron
I
back.
think it's been, I think she's.
Yeah, everything that we've had with it has been, you and I will do this, you and I will rule the world, you and I will defeat the Dark One, you and I will do everything. I don't think she hasn't even had the thought yet of, I'm gonna kill you and take over the world.
Yeah,
I
so-
don't see that happening with her.
I agree. We can't all. So a lot of people want to tie what she felt in that moment of when she found out that he slept with Avienda and he came out of it. They want to believe that that's like her last thought. So therefore, she's had that thought continuously and she can't get off of any other thought. No, she didn't kill him up to that point. And in that moment, she certainly wanted to and kill everybody around him. But since then, she's been mind trapped and she's come back and she's. So yeah, we can't tie too directly that that would be her immediate goal. But I think you can't take it out of her goals.
Well,
I mean, it's
there's a
probably
scene
down the
like
list.
as recently as Winter's Heart where she's still, you know, gung ho about killing Rand.
yeah, when they're
And that's all she
cleansing
wants.
Sayadine, she's
Oh,
wanting to.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
wait, her reaction when she found out he slept with one woman, was he gonna
She's gonna throw her shit.
do? Yeah,
So,
two more, yeah. And one of them's having his biz.
Like you said,
Soon to be two.
so they said that someone else has the privilege of killing Rand. So obviously the Dark One would have had to tell him that someone else has the privilege of killing Rand, and that's what we're taking for that. I'm gonna just take
If he was
another
telling the
quote.
truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna take another quote from Robert Jordan. Why do you believe the Dark One?
That's
Like,
what I said.
yeah,
That's what I'm
like
saying.
it was like that was the same thing where it was Ishmael saying all those things like, oh, we've met a million times before. Why do you believe Ishmael? Like,
Yeah,
why
no,
do
so-
you believe
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah.
Brandon confirmed that was true.
Which one?
That he said that Rand's soul and Moradin's soul are often woven together.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm just saying.
There's
Why
a-
would you
there's a-
like trust the Dark One?
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's the theory. It's like,
Yeah, and then like he's often playing them against each other, so maybe he gave it to both. Maybe he told both of them to do it.
That's
Yeah,
possible.
because we've seen that Moradin now has this ability to kind of be like, oh, what'd you say? Okay, yeah. And so he doesn't go to the Dark One, so he's certainly be like, actually, the Dark One's giving you this task, and certainly could have been like, no, the Dark One's giving you this task. Yeah, I agree. It's not just one person. Yeah, it could be two. Sure.
All right. I think it's most definitely Lanfear then, because if Moradin and Rand is connected, what happens to Moradin if Rand gets killed?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Moradin's perfectly okay with dying, is because he understands that if the Dark One
Because if
everything's gonna die.
if Lanfear wants to ascend to the top, she's gonna have to get rid of Moradin and Rand anyways.
Yeah.
So and since they're bonded together now, I think it's Lanfear drawing Rand in instead of being at the being told to do it by Morden.
Yeah. Okay, so but if it was, we're thinking if it's land fear, that it seems clear what her motivation would be to be get rid of the mind trap potentially, get out, and make Rand believe that, you know, okay, we're all good now or whatever, and in the end, rule. Get rid of everybody else and rule. What's Morden's ploy then? Really just to kind of make him not Neo-Rand? I mean, it seems to use land fear just to kind of get him off his edge a little bit. I mean, not that it can't be, but what else is there?
But think about the Forsaken's personality. When they very first turned, they talk a lot about the motivations they had. And Lanfear, she was jealous and she went to the dark side in part because she was jealous of Liz there, and she was actually on Team Light after the door was open. With Mordred, his whole motivation was because it's sort of a fatalistic bit. So I think that colors the way they're behaving now, that whole history of their original personalities.
I think it's somewhat of like how Morden was giving Grindel the mission of causing strife for Rand. It could just be some of that. Like, rather, he doesn't want to kill him right now still, but he's...
Well, it definitely plays on his weakness.
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to say, that Morden, Ishmael says it all, like they say it a lot. Luthern's only weakness was that he wasn't willing to make the sacrifices that the Dark Forces were willing to make, like send people to the death, leave people to die. Or now that he thinks Lanfear is good, is he willing to leave her to Shadar Harren and Morden? Now he's trying to play on his emotion that he'll feel responsible now that he has to come to save her. Yeah, and also that it's a woman. Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Well, it was occurring to me while we were getting ready for this panel, and you were saying something about Lanfear. I was thinking about how we get Sindane and then we get Lanfear in the dream, and it's possible we're seeing another thing like Lucanisum.
Like what?
Like Lucanisum.
Oh, yeah.
Where Lanfear and Sindane, you get Lanfear in one area and Sindane in the other.
Huh.
You're saying it hasn't been discounted because of
That there's still some personality left.
that possibility hasn't been discounted, that there's some duality there, but
there's not really any evidence for it either.
Right, yeah.
No, we don't.
She appears to be, pretty much the same, except for now she's hell-bent on killing Rand.
Yeah, but in the dream she looks like Sindane.
Yeah.
She does not look like Lanfear.
Yeah.
And
He
Brandon
recognizes
says-
the voice a lot.
And
That's the
her
voice or
eyes.
the,
Her
he recognizes
eyes.
something.
Her eyes.
Okay, that's what it was.
She recognizes her eyes.
Yeah, so it wasn't, so she wasn't saying we don't have any evidence for that. Back then.
Okay, I think Morden's using Lanfear to draw Rand so he can team up with them, you know? They're gonna team up. Morden, Rand, and I guess Lanfear too. They're gonna team up and then be like, Dark One, we don't like you.
Was that you that asked it the question yesterday at the
that was
event? That was you?
I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
The only
And then with Aaron and Matt, you have to fantastic.
But it never worked because Matt's really the dragon.
See, I don't actually think Morden's a nihilist. I think philosophically speaking, he believes being trapped in the wheel prevents any progress in society from being made because everything is undone and we return to that age. So he believes that he's actually serving good and serving the Dark One, because breaking the wheel would create a world with lasting progress. So his goal is always to flip Rand to serve the Dark One, thereby breaking the wheel. So I think that that's his motivation. He's never actually tried to kill Rand. He's
So then how is he using Lanfear to flip Rand?
That I don't know the answer to that. I don't know whether he thinks that she could somehow seduce him after all the time she's failed or what. But I'm saying I think that's the motivation, and we can figure out how that applies, personally.
I'm just wondering, this dream, why do you think that Lanfear appears in Sidene form? Because, in the dream, you can, you look the way you think you look, residual self-image, or you can make yourself look like someone else.
Right.
Why did Salimagar appear in her?
Well, and she's mind trapped, so she doesn't necessarily have control over what form she might appear in. She hates that form.
Well, they say the mind kind of molds to the body, and after a short while they start to see themselves.
The way that Halimagar appeared in the dream world was not as Balthamol, it was as...
Yeah, and she noted that it adapted really quickly, that before too long, Shadar Haran said, before too long, you'll feel like you never had any other body.
And that's also her dream. She's not in Tel'aran'rhiod, so it's a little bit different. So there's different
if it was a construct of Morden and you wanted to make it, Dingle Lanfear from the brand, why
Why not make
Why not take
why not make it near it?
Why not make
Yeah.
it near?
Because he has something to look for when he comes to save her.
There's some competing ways. If he's supposed to save her, Morden wants him to save her. But, like you said, he only recognizes the eyes, and so Morden would have to depend on the fact that he'd recognize her by her eyes. I mean, otherwise.
Yeah. Well, she told him.
She told him who she was. Yeah. But you'd think he would go, this is a total trap, because I don't recognize you. Like, how would you know all that stuff unless Morden told you? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, that's a good point. I like that. Right here, and then we'll go to that.
Back to Morden, could him dangling Landfair out there be a play like in the Kingfisher game, where there's a possible resolution by flipping the Kingfisher? I mean, he's always talked about playing games, and the masterful use of complex tactics and the different ways you can win that game. Maybe.
Explain that, because I'm sure people are going
to... it's been a while since I went over and read the game of the rules. There's a game that Morden talks about that only 3 people living know about, and there are 3 ways to win it. The Kingfisher represents Rand, or the Dragon Reborn, and you can essentially take control of him, you can destroy him, or he can destroy you. In fact, remember those are the 3.
And Stones is the dumbed down version.
Yeah, and Stones, this is like a really complicated game from the age of legends.
And I think that's a fantastic.
I mean,
because
he's always playing.
Yeah, but how do you imagine? How's that going to flip him?
If he can draw him out, then I don't know. Morden's he's canny. He plays like.
Are you saying it's just a different?
He's playing like a chess master.
Morden's kind of craziness. Like I can flip him with Landfair.
He's playing like 4 steps ahead to get Rand to do something, to get Landfair to do something, to manipulate both of them, so that he can maybe flip him in and win the game.
Okay, we're gonna do a little circle here. Right up here, and then right behind you. Right here, and then.
Come see me after, and I'll have a widget for you for good theory.
Okay.
It might not be that complicated. We've seen kind of what the
It has to be complicated.
Well, there might be a simpler part that plays into that complicated story. Okay, I'm gonna do stage 1, and he's 4 moves ahead. We've seen what the effect of the Rand-Morden link has been on Rand, and we've seen a little bit of what it is on Morden. And you have to imagine that if Morden really is a bad guy, being linked to Neo-Rand is probably putting him off his game in some way. So I'm wondering if this is like, bring him here, bring him to me so that I can figure out how to unhook us. So that either I can kill you without killing me, or so you can get out of my head so I can, enjoy a good
Well, one
game.
thing that's good to keep in mind, though, is that Morden is aware of the link, and Rand was not. So Morden at least has that advantage.
Yeah,
that
but I
he's
mean,
aware
Rand
of it.
was, when Rand thought that Bruce Theron was, Bruce Theron in his head, however that worked, he knew kind of what was going on, but it still is bothersome to him. I mean, if you imagine sharing your head with somebody who has like a complete opposite outlook on life, as you do.
Yeah.
But if you
And
think,
he's been philosophizing since like Crossroads, at least, really since the Path of Daggers. He's been thinking Moradin's thoughts. And he has no idea. Even now, he has no idea that it was that, connected.
so, but no, the mind trap. If you think about the mind trap, you kind of wonder if he's going, he'll try to save her. It will kill her, and it will. The effect of killing her, not only killing her, but what that's going to mean to us all, will not take us all out, but really knock him down. And he doesn't maybe recognize what's going to happen with that mind trap when he tries to save her, and if he can convince her that she really wants out, and that he just needs to get her out, and maybe he doesn't even know about the mind trap. Again, that just
obviously he doesn't know.
So yeah, there could be some of this has to do with the mind trap and this whole flipping him and the damage it does to the link. I like those. Those are all good combinations. We'll spend there's a couple more questions. Let's address those, and then you guys can start throwing some
we want to
theories.
do other theories than just this one.
If you guys want. I mean, this is great theory.
A couple things to address with that. One, if it was all a ploy from Morden, why wouldn't he use a construct of Yeaner? I mean, Neo-Rand doesn't necessarily know if or when she's ever been reborn. And 2, let's not forget that at the end of the day, as clever as he is, he's batshit crazy. So does he actually have to have an ultimate concise goal in mind, or could he not just be doing it for the sake of
For the game. Just for the sake of the game.
Screwing with them? Yeah, I absolutely could just be screwing with them.
From a literary perspective, though,
That's not fun.
that's kind of weak, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they put it in there for a reason, that's part of the plan, you know?
And they put it there, so we have.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. What we're gonna do here, and then we're gonna come back this way.
Well, the Dark Lord has said all along that he needs to turn Rand, not just kill him, right? Isn't
Right.
that what he needs?
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, there's that whole turning, that's the game.
Yeah, the Fisher.
The game.
The easiest way to win at charades.
Rather than, and using Sindane, Lanfear to, that whole thing that was just discussed. I mean, he doesn't want to kill him, he wants to turn him.
Yep, and then there was right, yeah, sorry.
This thought just popped in my head. I don't remember exactly how the Minecraft works, so this might be really off base, but maybe Lanfear was able to use that bond between Rand and Moradin to get into Rand's mind. That she can't really reach, like, Moradin's obviously not going to let her go. She can't reach out to anyone else because she's mind trapped there, but somehow her mind is connected to Rand's through Moradin.
Stealing that, good.
We keep coming back to the fact that Moradin is batshit crazy. What if he's really not? What if, I mean, he was considered back in the Age of Legends one of the greatest.
A great philosopher.
A great philosopher, a great strategist as far as the games go. I mean, he was one of the best at a game that makes stones go look like like a simple thing, and go on Earth, in our world, is one of the hardest games in the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have any of y'all ever actually tried to sit down and talk to a philosopher for any extended period of time?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, even a normal philosopher can seem batshit crazy. So, just put that out there.
We all remember Harold Fell.
Yeah. I mean, that has been his time like years.
Foucault definitely sounds crazy.
He's being manipulating them all.
Yeah, it could be like a fun little thing. Jordan's character on the entire thing, which is he's told us he's crazy so many times, and all of his people have said this guy's crazy, and we've all just come to accept he's crazy instead of being some master.
So we really kind of need to move on from this theory. Are there other theories
Sorry,
not about Lanfear that people want to talk about?
I have one that's completely off.
Okay, let's go.
That I've had for a long time.
Okay.
It's that not all of, but a lot of the main characters in the series are not, maybe not necessarily heroes of the Horn, or like heroes bound to the wheel, but they have specific roles bound to the wheel. Like Moraine was put out and put in her role specifically because she's the one that needs to be there for Rand and Lan
it's not
and
only
Tom.
heroes that are reborn.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, like,
So,
they
yeah,
have a
but
specific role. Like this is
semi-heroes.
Yeah, like yeah. Or like like they say, Matt is the trickster, or Matt is the horn sounder.
They're different archetypes.
Maureen is the teacher or the guardian, and Lan is the and
Yeah,
so on.
I certainly think so. Yeah. I'll go with you.
But again, the wheel has a lot of control over this,
Yeah.
so it's not. I feel like these
about sentient pattern.
sentient pattern is one. Yeah, that's but we'll go over here and then come back. Okay.
I was kind of going to use this as a segue from the Morden thing to a new theory.
Are you mentioning Lanfear? Because it's not going to make. Oh, great.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Just go ahead.
Morden using Lanfear as a trap, for him. That in conjunction with Morden having used somebody to have her be Nakomi and go to Avienda, push Avienda to Ruidian the second time, and have her see the future and go crazy and then cause strife for Rand again. Basically, Morden is using all of multiple threads. Yeah,
You're saying
all of
attacking
his women.
His women.
Yeah.
The Rand and the
Evil thing is next.
Stolen. Okay, next. That's awesome. That's a great idea. I think that's good. I wouldn't say that's definitely not our own possibility.
Okay, completely different, crazy theory. We were talking.
guy who can do the Austrian who can do just the gateways. But he can't do anything else but can do gateways, opening up gateways right in front of Matt's cannons. He'd just being like artillery support. Open a gateway, boom!
We talk a lot about intensive uses of gateways here.
Does anyone else think that Egwene is literally a prose reborn?
It's discussed a lot.
I think, yeah. It's that I don't like trying to assign everybody is someone famous reborn.
Right.
And I think that's an easy trap to fall into because of one of the big things of the series is that everybody is somebody reborn. But I think she's fulfilling the same role, that adversarial role, but it doesn't mean it's the same soul.
It's a possibility, but we don't really have any solid evidence pointing in that direction. So it's kind of just like idle speculation kind of thing, you know?
It's something that if it's true, we'll probably never find out about it.
Right,
And if it's not true, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant storyline. So it's a cool theory, but it's not one that can ever be true. So it's one that we can discuss back and forth for.
And you're saying that because of Egwene and how she's responding to Rand and such?
Yeah, almost tit for tat again.
Yeah, but logic per se, you know, she served a purpose because if the women had been with Luce there, and then Sadar would have also been tainted.
Maybe.
No, RJ confirmed that.
They said maybe.
RJ confirmed that.
They said might have been.
No, he said it would have been.
He said would? No.
Yes.
I'll leave Theresa. She tends to get rid of it. Yeah.
I'll show you.
Oh wait, did I say I was gonna come back here? Yeah. Okay.
So my theory is about Oliver. At the end of Towers of Midnight.
Yes.
All right, so he talks about all the things that he needs, right? He wants to be a better fighter so that he can avenge his father, and he talks about going to the Tower of Genji. Now I say this with the knowledge that RJ has already said that Oliver is not Gato King.
Right.
Is not Gato King. Let me restate that.
Is not.
So, if Oliver goes to the Tower of Genji with his needs, is it not possible that he could come out as Gato King?
Matt was dead.
Yeah, I mean, Matt didn't have his memories.
He's Matt's clone soul when Matt died.
Instead of Oliver is, Oliver will be a guy.
Exactly.
It's too old for Matt.
Oliver will be. That's a.
I like it.
No, so to your question, no. That's not possible. Alright, so because you want to know, the Finns have no control over souls and transmigration and such, so there's no ability for them to actually.
I love the words that we've like made up.
Transmigration. That was Jordan. Wasn't that Jordan?
But differently.
Awesome.
Speak up, Ted.
We have to get to the identity of that one remaining Forsaken that's been hiding in plain sight from Andre.
Right.
Commander's identity. I mean, there's so many theories about this. What do you guys think other than
It's all over. It's all over. Everything's all over.
Sin buoy.
Sin
Sinbury's gonna take his mask off.
Who's the one wife that stayed at the Black Tower?
Sora.
I would have gotten away with it too.
He's the only one that's out.
Does anyone have any good ideas on Demandred?
No. Besides that's definitely
Here,
let's
let's just.
Wipe out Lancer.
Yeah. Okay, let's figure it out.
You got like 40 minutes.
37. It's not close.
Okay. So we have Rodron?
Road.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I know how to spell. Okay.
Then we have somewhere in Shara.
Yeah. Tiny.
Ja, we're playing both.
Oliver.
Okay, can we list an unnamed character? Like it's someone that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, the murderer and son, Shaba.
Unnamed characters.
Then the question is where, right, if he's unnamed.
And the unnamed character thing is kind of weak just because Brandon said that, and RJ said that we can figure out who he is. So if
That
it's an
doesn't,
unnamed
well, that
character.
doesn't mean that.
He's not sure. We also know he's
I didn't say it
not
was
example.
qualified, I just said it was weak.
Could he be responsible for all killings and Sean? He said it's
So, do we have any other characters?
He was saying that we can figure that out. We can figure out
The murderer is not, the murderer on the throne.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, the murderer on the throne of Shantae?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
The emperor.
I thought Cimarage was only.
We don't know if he's declared himself emperor, but
You know who I mean.
right.
Demandre.
No alias? You want me to put up no alias?
Oh, it might be like a loony crazy theory. I should have probably brought it up yesterday, but he said he was gathering his armies in the south, right? The only other thing that I could possibly think of in the south that would be like detrimental to Rand if Demandre had it would be all of the channelers that are on the Isle of the Madmen.
Isle of Madmen.
Right.
Yeah, that was weak because the Isle of Madmen is never actually mentioned in the books.
No, yeah, it's
Except for the guide.
Plus, I think it was hinted at by RJ that we could see something we could not. It's not. I think there was some statement.
That's why it's loony.
It's a
Why?
new lover.
Zenobia's lover?
Yeah, we don't know who it is.
Does she have one, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that mentioned?
It's
Well,
in,
he's hanging out with he's got the Borderland armies.
it's in Towers.
He's
I wrote today at the top.
It's either in Towers or in Sloan.
You're trying to tell us something, or you think it's Riodrin?
Your other ideas are terrible.
Do you want to do it?
I think it's Rogan too.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting kind of,
Narrowed down.
I mean, when you look at that, unnamed, no alias, Isle of Madmen, no
Right,
disclosure.
exactly.
Especially since he couldn't possibly be, who's the current king of Tyr right now?
Darling. He's been seen on screen.
He's been seen on screen.
So it can't be anybody who's seen on screen before Tower. Well, no, the only book that this character might have been seen on screen was The Gathering Storm, and it's likely that not even in that book. But every other book has been disqualified. If they were seen on screen in any of those books, then it can't be Evandra.
Yeah, I'm here.
So only if they were seen on screen in Towers of Midnight.
No, The Gathering Storm.
Oh, and only in the Gathering Storm and not any other book.
Right.
Or has never been seen.
Or has never.
The blacksmith.
Which one?
In the beginning of Gathering Storm, he buries the anvil. It's the blacksmith.
jeez.
Yeah, he was seen on screen in Gathering Storm. He was never seen anywhere.
I think that now actually thinking one that's stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Is it Sleet, the warder that Gawain kind of left in charge of the younglings?
He was in Towers of Midnight.
Was he in Towers or was he
Yes,
only in?
he was in Towers.
Oh, that's too bad.
I remember the last time we heard about that step and
Matt just
dance.
said the.
No, Towers of Midnight was disqualified.
Oh, it was? Towers of
Midnight. Yeah, the only book that's possible
What
is
is it called? Leia beyond the Weiss?
Yeah, sure. Another unnamed shark.
Now, a lot of people think he's going to show up with an army of Shara channelers.
Someone's in Shara, and we know Randall's been there.
Well, Demandre is one of these guys where we keep on assuming there's like only in one place. Or
Well, I
something.
mean, Shara
Yeah,
has
why
some
do we
purpose
assume
for
that? Because
existing.
Randall's been all over the freaking map.
Well, we don't assume
Why
that
do we
he's
assume that he's in one place?
Oh, no, we just assume that his,
Yeah, I like
his
armies
alter
is
ego is in
plural.
one place.
He's Demandre is gathering his armies.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. So he could be one, he could have an alias one, and he could be gathering one.
I'll do it for a second.
That's a stretch.
Well, maybe the first thing's great.
One large military force can hold multiple armies, though.
Okay, but
I don't know
why
why.
do you know that?
In the US, we know armies.
Why do we have to say that?
It's right here, yeah, sure.
We can't make the assumption right that
That's what I said. Okay, hey, guys, I'm sorry, we need to have one conversation here. So Emma is.
Yeah, I'm thinking that he might be involved in different kind of things. Also, for example, perhaps he might be with the Black Tower at least in contact with Tame. I mean, we've seen him ordering Asherman to kill Rand. So he is involved with the Black Tower
At a minimum, we know
somehow.
he's involved in the Black Tower.
Yeah, to some extent, right?
Yeah.
So.
Plus, this doesn't necessarily help his identity, but what he's doing, he's probably training the kind of devil ale that you see in the Blight. Like,
Oh, the, yeah.
yeah, they're like possible men that ran off the container.
I love that Demondred is like in the island. Man, he's shot right. Trained. I mean, I want that, to be honest. I want that to be true because if it's just that he's really good, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
Oh, that he's, okay, here's what, that he's,
Yeah.
whatever, he's in charge of training the Legion of the Dragon.
Yeah, Bashir is training them, but a lot of people think that, you know, Demandra, because it was Taim's idea in the first place. He's the one who suggested Durand. Oh, you should take the people who
Bring
failed the
in
test.
everybody and everyone who fails.
Right.
For these other.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
And we don't hear anything from them, and their name is Legion. You know?
Right.
I'm sorry, that seems weak. Like, we're
It
looking
is
at the
weak,
conscripts.
but-
The conscripts. Commander's not gonna be like, yeah, give me the farmers. And I'm gonna train them.
Okay, so this is one question we're not going to answer, but I like this list. I'd like to open it
I want to
up.
do a vote though.
Oh, you want to vote it? Okay, we can vote it before we move on. That's fine. I mean,
So we vote for Paul.
no, I think just well, it'll stop it from being too long if we just like do a vote for your favorite. So just one vote.
Okay, so shot down. Who thinks he's in charge?
Wow.
Can you vote?
We got like 2 here, 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah.
Roger.
I'm gonna be disappointed, but I think that's what it is.
Raise your hands again. We don't
No, actually,
That's
I'm
weak.
moving
It's
on.
weak. It's weak, but I think it's what it is.
Look at you all just buying into the most plausible case. Yeah.
I got 29.
I know, stupid is right sometimes.
That can't be wrong all the
But he's some
time.
unnamed character.
That doesn't mean we want it to be.
Oh, 7.
I'm gonna. Emperor. Don't Emperor. That would be decent. Emperor would be decent. All right. Because if you consider what the Shanshan will become potentially in the 4th age, I like that he wants to be that. So.
That's my answer for who I want.
No aliens?
Who he's himself and he has no other aliens.
Well, obviously he's himself. Yeah. Only he's not anybody.
But he's not
Yeah.
posing as anyone. But he doesn't have an alter ego.
I like that. You haven't seen his alter ego yet.
In fact, I'm removing my vote from this, and I'm going to say that he is just himself. Okay, who else votes for?
Is there anybody else that has a vote?
Alias?
I don't know alias. Nice.
Can I just add, if you take the map, and it's been a while, if you put it out, and where Shanshan is that in essence southern Randland?
No.
It's like.
But the Shanshan took over the south first.
It would have parts of it that would be shiny.
Well, I'm just saying, because if he's playing with words in regards to being in the south.
Well, he didn't
Where
say he
was
was
he
in the
said
south.
that he was in the south?
He didn't say he was in the
Okay,
south.
where was the person when they said he was in the south? South of Aradoma.
Yeah.
And that was the Forsaken, and that was the Forsaken. I know that one. Yes!
I like it. I'm curious. Shinobi's lover.
And Legion.
No, I was saying I didn't have a vote.
Okay, Ryun, you're probably right. I was hoping you're wrong up with the Emperor.
I really hope that he's like, you know what, that's why.
Oh, he has one. That's what he hired the band for.
Like,
He hired the band to help.
Ryodrin does have an army. That's the best. Ryodrin does have an army. So you guys want to talk about this? He's like, what?
Legion General, I think this is Rand's army?
This is
The Legion of Shira.
Yeah.
What do you think about Bashir?
No, because he's been on screen.
He's paying leading from below. Like, yeah, he's
Okay, so Commander is like, this is a fun topic.
Hey, guys!
Now I want to give you like I want to give you some time, and I'm assuming we can go over. I want to give you some time to bounce some ideas off that you might have, or kind of whatever, kind of rolling around your head. You kind of wonder if it's possible, and it doesn't have to be anything like, you know, people look like all crap.
We're not necessarily going to open up for commentary. We just want to hear
your ideas, and then we'll. And yeah, we'd like to kind of say, we'll give you kind of like, yeah, that's, no, that doesn't work. Yeah.
With Misana, we saw that weave where you can say something and everyone hears something else. So how much stuff that we've heard is not true?
I love this theory. I love this theory. Like, there's a subtext going on in the books, and we'll get that later. You know, like book 15, it's just like all of the margins of what really is that.
The prophecy is twice dawns the day, and then it's once for birth, once for death. His blood on the rocks.
Okay.
My thought is that it's Elaine giving birth at Shale Ghoul and then
I
dying.
said, yeah, because she's not ready yet. Safe until the babies are born.
Yeah.
So like
She's
early
only
birth.
like 4 months pregnant as of the end of Towers of Midnight.
I know.
But it's still fun. Still fun.
Is it possible that the infant and the elephant gave Matt the spear, knowing he would cut that hole open in the side of their building, or they couldn't use that to get out?
Yeah, Ted?
Yeah.
I asked Brandon about that before.
Okay.
And his full answer was that they have foreknowledge that isn't absolute, kind of like wise ones.
Okay.
And they knew that if he figured out how to use it, he would be able to escape. But they didn't want him to figure it out, and B, they didn't want him to escape if he did come back.
Okay.
Okay.
So they gave it to him, but they didn't actually want it.
They knew, right, but they didn't want to figure it out.
If you blood on the rocks at Shale Ghoul, maybe Gallant dies at Shale Ghoul.
Yeah, yeah.
The ship from is also Lord Luck too.
That's actually one of the things that, like, every fantasy thing I want to see happen.
Glad.
And I really want to see
Diana.
the two brothers fight together at the last
I believe
battle.
that Varian sent Galad the Laxar telling him either that he is Rand's brother or that he needs to go to Makepeace.
Yeah. Or that he needs to die. No.
Okay, so on a little bit on the Galahad connection, that Galahad in Arthurian legend is the one who attains the Holy Grail. Linda and I were talking about this. And the Holy Grail is also referred to as Sangreal, but which also translates to royal blood. With royal blood, with Galad being the prince. So it could have something to do with him and Kalendor, or I don't know, something that happens where Galad lays down his life for.
I think a possibility there is that Rand might die before he gets to Shale Ghoul, you know, and then he'll have to be resurrected, and then they're going to be like, oh my God, he didn't shed his blood on the rocks. What are we going to do? So, you know, there's a possibility.
Go with no on that one.
Yeah, there's a possibility that they might try to take his blood to Shale Ghoul.
Take his blood shot?
Yeah.
Just take a vial. Yeah, right here, we'll go back to the rocks.
I think the Fallen Rocks, Dragon's Fallen Rocks is actually what I go by.
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, I think Rand will be leaving.
No, so support for this one, not that we want to get too far into that. Obviously he comes back to him and he's like, okay, I'm not going to keep you guys away from doing what it is you do. You're going to be my spear. So there is a lot of, it could be something as, again, we like to make these so complex and it very well, that's like that's a very specific, easy kind of concept that it very well could be.
When the Trollocs attacked the White Cloaks and when they attacked Arturalda, the Ashaman present said they felt male channeling.
Yep.
I'm thinking that was the, somebody mentioned the male Aiel in the Blight. I was thinking they somehow got involved in it.
So you think it was the male versus somebody from something in the Black Tower?
Versus the Black Tower doing their own thing somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more groups, you know.
I would like to really see something happen with the male ideal and that go up there, if that actually doesn't.
The red, are we talking, do you think that they're also the red?
I don't, the guys who were the red veiled ideal had dark eyes.
He had dark eyes, and also they didn't channel.
That could be the soft in advance.
They only get they're all in like true power.
But you know, I mean, the saying in the Westlands is to watch out for the black-eyed ideal.
Yeah. And it's kind of put forward as an ignorant assumption.
Yeah, and every time that you'll hear it, they're like,
Black eyes.
I really have black eyes.
Yeah.
And people in the borderlands say it.
Do they notice?
So it's like a sentence carried down.
Is there a possibility to return?
Well, yeah, I brought that up, but we don't really have any evidence.
Yeah.
But that the black-eyed Aiel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there are, the
Aiel
Aiel
change, the warrior side called the black eyes. Sausage.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's my.
Okay, we had,
We have no
before we go over, oh, sorry, yeah, go ahead. And then we'll come
Kind
back.
of off topic, Gallet and Berlin.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Okay, so I personally call Powers of Midnight the hookup book. But yeah, there's a lot of.
The greatest hookup?
I've been trying to figure this out, and I can't really because the chronology in Powers of Midnight was sort of muddled for me. But I'm trying to figure out did Avienda get Toroidian and go into the Terangreal both times before Rand had his like epiphany?
The clouds
Because
broke after her second future vision. So
Okay.
that was the moment that he.
so
had
she
his-
came out right at the
Yeah,
moment.
well, no, she came out of like her second future vision and then she went back in for a few more. You know, it
Okay.
happened in the middle of her future vision.
Okay, because I was thinking that if she had those visions, they might be like while a pattern was sort of unraveling. They were
RJ
mentioning
said
that Min's viewings were less reliable because
Yeah.
the pattern was sort of breaking up.
Right, exactly.
So I was thinking that the vision might be changed if once Rand has his epiphany. I'm
You
not
know,
sure.
even without the pattern falling apart though, there's still the possibility that they only showed her the most likely future at that
Right.
moment.
Right,
And then
we don't know
anything
how
she
the
does to
Terangreal
change it.
works.
Yeah.
Well, I do like that other idea, Morden manipulating Avienda and at the same time, that is fun. Yeah. So did you get your question?
Yeah. 3 minutes.
Plus,
No,
she
she
has
has, so we know she's running errands.
Is the feedback panel, when's the feedback panel at?
Four.
Okay. So, anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
What's up with Sean Fain and the zombie trolley?
Yeah, right? Spoiler, right? Back in Fane, he's gonna bite off Rand's finger.
So for those of you who don't know me,
You bring the arc back.
the last couple of years, my theory on how it's all been My whole theory is that Rand is going to be there at Mount Doom or whatever fighting, and then Penfane is going to jump up and bite his finger off. And
Gotcha. That'd be so terrible. Anyone else have any last minute questions?
That puts a different inflection on wow, or everybody said after they read the ending. It's not
Yeah.
wow.
Assuming, fitting the timeline when the sun came in, but the sun didn't break out everywhere when Rand did it. The sun broke out where Rand was.
Where Rand's women. He's bonded to Avienda
Yeah.
through the bond. You see it here, and you see it in Camelin with Elaine. So only where he and his women are. Yeah.
Is
it that, or is it because it's jumping around?
It's because of the women.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see it anywhere else except for above where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there
Karen
another way
and,
to see Camelin, or
Karen.
how to stop the sun?
A little bit over there. Oh, yeah, right, they are. Karen is.
So what did it do? Well, she was in tier with men. So, yeah, we don't know.
But was she in tier with men?
But I thought
She
tier,
was, yeah.
before she left.
Whoever she had, we don't know what they
Yeah.
like, you're right.
And now to end the panel, now you're going to break the last seal of the piece.